All right, my fine people, how y'all? God damn, goddamn voice. That was. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna redo the recording with that. I'm just gonna sip this hot liquid here. This fucking Yeti keeps shit too hot. Good, it's gracious. Oh, anyway. Oh man, that was horrible. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today, and this is a subject that I don't usually go into with any great detail, especially not on video or anything like that. I've only remember making one video ever that had any kind of religious thing going for it. Now, me, I consider myself an agnostic. That means I don't know. That's what everything out there. I have no idea. Not gonna claim to know. You know what I'm saying? What's going on out there with all these, different people and what they believe and all this other stuff. It is what it is. If it's out there, it's working for somebody. That's my belief right there. So, and there's a lot of stuff going on out there, a lot of stuff that used to go on out there, and, before certain things in history started happening. So, yeah, all of that. Now, this is the thing that got me. I'm one of those people that ventures out and just kind of sticks his nose in other cultures and see what's happening and stuff like that. Not so much into Christianity, Islam, and Judaism and stuff like that, because me being raised, in the South. I'm here in Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? I'm 50 years old, so you can go back, if you around my age, or even before then, I grew up in one of them times where you got your ass up and went to church. That was not negotiable. You know what I'm saying? That's what you did. You got up and you went to fucking church. That dissipated as I got as an adult. Christianity didn't do much for me. But I am. That sounded weird when I said I didn't get a whole lot out of it. Let's put it like that. Because me saying Christianity didn't do much for me is actually a goddamn lie. It did plenty for me because I got what I needed out of Christianity. And then I started looking over other religions and stuff like that. Not to join or convert to anything else, but just to see what other people were doing. And I got big into Taoism, which was something that made sense to me. It was kind of secular, at least that part of it. But there's a part of it that ain't secular, and it's weird. They got this like a mystical Taoism or whatever, but you have to be over it. You have to be over there. You know what I'm saying, to really get that part of it, and it got to do with dragons and all kind of, whatever. I would take the whole westernized version of it. I'll take the westernized version of it, which actually made sense to me. I had books and shit and everything. And, read up on it while my vision was holding up. You know what I'm saying? I had books and stuff. I used to always I kept the Tao Te Ching with me and the I Ching with me in my car. I bring it with me to work at home. I had those books on me like people had their Bibles with them. You know what I'm saying? Because it made sense to me. And the principles of that, most of which I still have now. Now, I can't keep myself abreast. Matter of fact, I just got through listening to Alan Watts, who goes, he's one, Alan Watts, he been dead for a while, but back in the 60s or shit like before then, he's somebody you probably like to listen to, even though his lectures and shit are from way back then. They make sense now because he's one of those people that had a spiritual awakening. You know what I'm saying? Who was a Catholic priest or some kind of priest beforehand and switched over to the eastern side of it and blah, blah, blah. And he don't speaks bad on anything, but he has a broad knowledge of everything. But anyway, today's topic to me will piss a lot of people off. And, you know, being the color that you see me, the first thing gonna be out your mouth, I don't give a damn. Well, you know, I really don't care to piss people off because whatever. You can't help it. The only thing you can do is put your thoughts out there. Now, this hoodoo stuff. This hoodoo stuff is something that's been kind of creeping in. You know what I'm saying? It's been creeping in. I'm like, okay, let me see what this hoodoo. Let me look up on some hoodoo stuff and see what this stuff is right here. Because, you know, you hear hoodoo, you hear voodoo, you hear all this other stuff, then you have to look online and whatever, see the difference between this, that, and the other, and make sure, you know, to see what people are really talking about and stuff like that. Now, I'm just going to say this right off the top. So people that I'm going to piss off, I'm just going to put this out here. I get a lot of conflicting information. I've done a lot of looking here, there, and there with other goddamn religions and stuff like that, and even Christianity, which has a lot of different branches of Christianity. But this hoodoo stuff, man, right off the top, for people that's looking for information and stuff like that, especially if you're looking online and stuff like that, it ain't like you just go get a goddamn book and whatever, which was usually what I would do, but I don't, you know, my eyes don't work like that no more. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. It really is. It can be goddamn confusing. And I'm still early in my research and looking at, and I'm on YouTube and shit. And some of the stuff that other than YouTube that I'm looking up, it's just a bunch of text and shit that I just cannot put the energy in to even try to read. Like I said, my vision. And so I'm looking at these videos and all this other stuff, and I'm a Uncle Ruckus. Just put it like that. If you don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, look it up. That's kind of me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at these videos, and it's, you know, it's about the most gatekept thing ever, which is a major turn off. And it's a major turn off for me, and that's me. Whatever, yeah, that's just like me, because I looked over all these little sects of people and their religions and their beliefs and all this other shit, and then you get to my people, the black folks. And then we got this shit right here where we like, you can't do this. You can't do that. You ain't black. You ain't there. And there. And then you get, you see another motherfucker be like, you know, if you want to do it, do it. You know? And then the part is, you know, you get to the point, they say, well, if you never, this is just recently, okay, you got to have at least one black parent to practice hoodoo. And I'm like, that's stupid. You know what I'm like, that's stupid. And then 5 minutes later, I'm on another video, and the lady is like, you gotta have one fully black parent. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, really, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, you got to have one fully black parent, and you can't do this shit. You know, you can't practice it. And the part about it is, if they were just saying it as matter of fact, that's one thing. They say the shit with they, you know, because they be like, I'm going to make this disclaimer at the beginning of my video before I start talking about whatever the fuck it is I'm going to talk about. And it's obvious that some of the videos I'm watching is just people copying other folks, because I've heard that disclaimer a couple of times and it's word for word. I'm like, this little chick right here was just listening to somebody else and just copied her shit. You know what I'm saying? So she decided to make videos and she just gonna copy. Okay, that's exactly what I heard this older woman say. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, everybody can have this disclaimer and stuff like that. But when your disclaimer is like word for word with somebody else fucking say, especially on YouTube and other shits and TikTok and all that shit, yeah, you just copying shit. You know what I'm saying? You just copying shit. You on the bandwagon. You on the bandwagon. But that's one of them things, because like I said, I'm gonna piss some people off, but it is what it is. When I listen to all these other religions and all this other stuff and blah 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 blah, the shit sounds silly. That's why I'm agnostic. That's why I don't buy into a lot of this stuff, because the shit sounds silly. But you know what? I'm one of those people. Everything sounds silly to me. It does. It ain't just that. Everything fucking sounds silly to me. So I know that going into stuff. But going into shit like this, when I'm dealing with black folks, shit don't just sound silly. It sounds like bullshit. I'm not calling Hoodoo bullshit. I'm not. I got 2 mojo bags over there. I created and blessed myself. So, yeah, I'm not calling it bullshit. I'm calling what I see from other folks online. I'm calling it sounds like bullshit. I'm not calling it bullshit. It sounds like bullshit. I have to make sure that I word that right. Sounds like bullshit. Because most of the time when people talking to me, everything sounds like bullshit. I don't buy nothing until I see something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I'm watching these videos and they come with this black shit. And I'm like, okay, well, somebody had to write the rules at some point, I guess. You know what I'm saying? If this is some shit that came over and they had to, the little the Africans that got here at first had to figure out a way to keep doing what they was doing, under the radar and all this other shit. I still don't see where the whole I don't know. Like I said, but the rules today is what get me, as far as that's concerned. Because they were like, you got to have one fully black parent. Do you know the makeup of black folks? Ain't none of us fully just black. You know what I mean? At least not African. So that makes no sense to start with, because we all mix with something. We all mix with something. Your high yellow ass can't be telling people that you have to have one fully black parent. Well, look at you. Look at you. You know what I'm saying? Look at you. There's some black ass people out here, but somewhere down the line, goddamn, you mix with something. You mix with something. And I don't, unless your ass is like from the Carolinas, Florida, or fucking Georgia, some shit like that. The more you move east, the more likely your ass is mixed with something goddamn else. And I don't want to hear none of that shit from somebody from goddamn Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Probably the most mixed up motherfuckers ever. You know what I'm saying? In this region of the fucking United States where we at here, from a little bit Mississippi, moving on to Louisiana and Southeast Texas. Yeah. Your ass is mixed with something. So saying somebody has to have a fully black parent, at least one fully black parent, can't practice hoodoo. And then one woman said you can't be biracial and practice hoodoo. And I'm thinking, we all are. You know what I'm saying? If your lineage made it this, I don't know how. Now, I've seen some motherfuckers that look like they just came straight off the goddamn boat. Them motherfuckers are still out there. I don't know how strong your goddamn genes are, or if your whole family line has been fortunate not to be tainted. But you know, I've seen people on my grandmother's side of the family, and it ain't no there ain't no way them motherfuckers is they probably mixed all, I don't know. They look white. They like black folks with that funny hair, like you would see from like some of the people in Louisiana or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they like light skin. Like they look white. You know what I'm saying? It's one of, you know, it's just like they look white. You know how you see people, I've seen a couple of people like this online recently that there's just light skinned people that are like whiter than white folks. Only way you can really tell that they black is by listening to them talk. You know what I'm saying? Them type of folks. But you can't be biracial. We all are. To some degree, we all are. You can't practice hoodoo if you biracial. You got to have one black parent, at least one black parent, to practice hoodoo. Okay? You know, what's considered black? Because there's a lot of people out there considered black that ain't exactly black, that you would consider biracial. You know what I'm saying? You got to have one fully black. That means you got to have somebody in your family. You got to have a parent in your family that just came straight from the goddamn boat over here. They had to have, you know, the likelihood of that, they have to have come over and made it all these hundreds of years, all the way up until now, without no white blood. That one parent has at least done that. That's why I say it sounds like bullshit. That's why I say it sounds like bullshit. I'm just like, what? Yeah, what the hell? What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, That's why when I go into thinking about hoodoo, I stick with the mechanical aspect of it. The actual workings of it and all this other shit. Not this other gatekeeping shit that they start off with. And a lot of other stuff like the mix between Christianity and hoodoo or whatever the hell. And people are saying shit that don't make no damn sense at all. Well, they talking about, yeah, you can practice hoodoo in your Christianity. Now, I understand the point where if you speaking historically where the African slaves were finding ways to practice their hoodoo under Christianity. That could, you know, if you know. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't just, you know, you Christians now. You're not doing whatever the hell else you think you're doing. You know, they kept doing their shit, but they had to covertly do it. Now, I was watching this video, and sometimes black folks just, come on, man. I listen to other people, Asians and white folks and all this other, they put the information out there, blah, blah, blah. Black folks is just over the top with every goddamn thing. And it's disheartening. It really the fuck is. But this lady here, and it's kind of funny how it's always a lady. I watched one video with a dude from Louisiana about root work and shit like that, and he ain't have no disclaimers. He wasn't saying who couldn't do it and who can't do it and all this other shit. He just said, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And blah, blah. And that was it. Every other video I watch, the fucking female thing, just, the first thing come out their mouth is who can and can't fucking do it. Anyway, about the church shit. Now, a lot of that shit made sense. What talking about, you have to do hoodoo under the radar and all this other shit. And then it started going into, you have to be careful because if you doing Christianity and hoodoo, you got to make sure you go into other stuff about you having to cleanse and protect and to keep the Christianity from washing away your blessings from the hoodoo and all this other shit. And you know, if you getting baptized and if you're going through like getting baptized in Christianity, you have to like cast some kind of goddamn hoodoo spell on yourself or wear some kind of shit. They're like the little mojo bags or whatever. Like, just to show y'all, so y'all don't think I'm bullshitting. Because I'm talking shit here. So I just want to make sure that I show y'all. I have, these are the 2 bags right here that like I said, I curated, blessed these myself. This is blue, green. This is how I distinguish the 2 because these bags are the same color. Blue, this is my protection bag. Green, this is my luck bag. I made these bags. You know what? Ever since I made these bags, I've been feeling great. I've been feeling great. You know what I'm saying? I keep them right here. All right, y'all. Yeah, I keep them right there next to my little table next to where I sleep. And I take them with me when I leave and all that kind of shit like that. But anyway, that's just to show y'all that I'm not shitting on it. That's it, because this is some stuff that I generally keep to myself. It's not something I spread or try to spread. But I did have thoughts on this shit because, you know, I think it's important. You know what I'm saying? But you can't think stuff is important to where you just overlook shit, contradict shit. Like I said, Christian stuff. Talking about keeping, you know, you make one of those little bags, you know, you get, you know, you put one in a little white hat, you know, that you have to wear when you get fucking baptized, cover your crown or whatever the hell else, you know. So all this shit is new to me, so, you know, whatever. And, you know, keep a bag in your sock or whatever. So when you get blessed, when you getting baptized, that the Christian, the baptism doesn't wash away whatever protections and stuff that you got from the hoodoo. And I was like, okay. Okay. And then this one was like, say, well, what you also want to do is while you being baptized, and this is not being baptized unwillingly. You know what I'm saying? This is not being baptized unwillingly, like something that might have happened way hundreds of years ago. This is active in the church now. This is active in the church now. So you actively in the church. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to what I'm saying. You actively in the church, participating in the church. That means you going along with everything that goes on in the church. You know what I'm saying? As far as the word and all this other stuff, you into it. And you also got this hoodoo stuff over here. But you got you got the hoodoo going and trying to block whatever it is that you are actively doing in the church. This woman literally says, you know, what you want to do is while you're getting baptized, you want to say a prayer. You know what I'm saying? Say a little prayer while you're getting baptized to your ancestors, the Hoodoo ancestors, to keep the baptism from washing. I mean, you want to actively pray away the baptism while you're getting baptized. Why are you in church? Why are you in church at all? Like I said, this shit wasn't speaking as you was in church all those 100 years ago. She talking about these days. These days. This is the kind of information I'm getting. Just trying to look up Hoodoo, and I'm like, I ain't seen everything on Hoodoo, but as far as what pops up on my feed from the suggestions and shit, like, this is what I'm getting. God damn. Oh, that's hot. I was gonna sip that, but shit, that little bit spilled on my shorts and burnt me through my damn fabric. Oh my goodness. This is the kind of information I'm getting. It's a bunch of gatekeeping out there that is deterring people that I'm pretty sure have a pretty good goddamn right to practice Hoodoo however the fuck they want. And you can. Don't listen to these people. Because I'm 100% sure that I'm not all black. You know what I'm saying? People on my immediate side of the family got freckles. So, yeah. And you know what? I made those bags, and and those bags work just fine for me. They work just fine for me. Like, literally. I wasn't expecting anything, but I did notice a fucking immediate change in my energy. You know what I'm saying? When I made those two little bags, I was like, it's not like you went, okay. It was just one of them things where I'm just out and just, I don't feel like pissing nobody off today. You know what I'm saying? It was just like one of them things. I don't feel like pissing nobody off today. Or some shit happened and you just let it slide. You're like, I'm not gonna bother with that right now. Or you sitting there watching TV and you just like, kind of a nice mood right now. Just like that. It's subtle. You know what I'm saying? I didn't sit here and boom and get the glow like Bruce Leroy or some shit and start glowing and yes. No, that's not it. But it was enough for me to notice, and I was just like, okay. Cool. Yeah, I was like, cool. No, I started, looking up some more information on it and stuff like that. And, and I ran across some of that type of shit before. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I keep running across it. Some of the content that I'm seeing is iffy at best. You know what I'm saying? They regurgitating the same. That's why I say, get into the mechanics of it. You know what I'm saying? Look up the mechanics of it. Don't get into these people and their opinions. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like this right here. They say, okay, you can do this, and do that. Nothing is fucking concrete. You'll learn it. You'll learn this. Nothing is concrete. They'll be like, well, this is how you do this right here. Or you can just do this right here. And then right off the bat, you can really do whatever you want. I mean, are we making this shit up as we go along? Because if you're watching the wrong I'm guessing if you're watching the wrong goddamn content, the information you get, is like that. They'll say you can do this and you can do that, and you can also just do what the fuck you want. Well, that's some pretty shitty goddamn guidance. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's a really shitty goddamn guidance. Never really seen that before. You know what I'm saying? It's kind I get that from dealing with black folks, but yeah, that's about it. That's why I don't trust shit from black people. I really don't want to be that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. It's just like, you know. And if I hadn't made those mojo bags right there and got them sitting right there, I'd be angry making this video right now. I really would. I wouldn't be sitting here jovially making this shit. I'd be actually ranting and just, well, I always curse, but it would have been visceral. It would have been visceral because I'm just like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? You're gatekeeping. You don't want nobody else doing it but black folks, not knowing that your ass, yourself, ain't fully black. Just because both of your parents is brown skin, I'm pretty sure, you know, you talking to your ancestors. And I don't discount none of that shit. I'm not saying I discount these people's experiences. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I never do. Even with Christianity or anything else. I never discount people's experiences because everything out there that's going on works with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It works with somebody. I don't know if she say they talking to their ancestors and all kind of having conversations and shit like that. I'm like, okay, well, okay, that's fine. And she was talking like she said, yeah, I actually, I met a couple of my goddamn it, ancestors. You know, it was like two of them I actually know, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, well, she, maybe her grandmother and she taught her some of these spells and all this other. No, she was talking about motherfuckers from way back. I was just like, oh, okay. I can't discount that. I saw Bloody Mary in the mirror one time when I threw some fucking water on the mirror and started saying Bloody Mary. I seen a fucking white ass face pop up in the goddamn mirror in the bathroom when I did it. And I tried to leave my bathroom and couldn't because the door was locked, and I did not lock that goddamn door. You know what I'm saying? I live in an old house. They got that little latch. You know what I'm saying? You know, because all the goddamn door handles in the house was broke. It had that little latch. And I didn't that latch. But when I went to close that goddamn, when I went to run out that goddamn bathroom, and that damn latch was latched. Yeah, so I can't. I just, I can't discount people's experiences. I can't. If you talking to your ancestors, you talking to your ancestors. And like I said, it's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to talk to my ancestors or whatnot. At least not like that. Will it happen at some point? I don't know. It depends on how long I plan on indulging. You know what I'm saying? How long I plan on indulging with the hoodoo. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, those, as far as I know, those goddamn bags I did work. I wasn't looking for much else other than that. You know, because when it comes to hoodoo, one of the videos that I watched, and some of the information came from one of these people I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It was all over the goddamn place. But the first video I saw of hers was like, a lot of y'all, have hoodoo practices. You've been doing it your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing it. And I fall into that. You know what I'm saying? It was like one person, oh man, goodness gracious. One person said, you can't learn hoodoo. You can't learn hoodoo. I think I saw this on TikTok or some shit. This helper said, you cannot learn hoodoo. It have to already be in you. And I'm like, that's stupid. And of course, when you see something on TikTok or something like that, you go right to the comments and you already know that everybody just lit that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just lit that shit up. So you can learn anything. But she said it. And that's why one of the gatekeeping shits I was talking about, you can't learn hoodoo. That's something that has to already be in you. And I'm like, that is fucking retarded. It is. It's just, black folks, think about shit before you fucking say it. And like, for real, just think about shit before you fucking say it and put it out there into the world. And I'm pretty sure that woman read them goddamn comments and was like, I don't give a fuck. Well, you know, I've posted some shit where people done, well, you know, people come in there and say weird ass shit. And I'm one of those people that hop in people comments and say weird ass shit. So whatever, yeah, whatever. But that was dumb. That was just dumb. You can't learn hoodoo. And I was like, that is extremely false. You know what I'm saying? Now, if even if you bring in that other bullshit the way, but like you can't practice hoodoo, you know what I'm saying, unless you black and all this other shit, I was like, that's fine. That don't mean you can't learn it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that don't mean you can't learn it. But it's saying you can't learn it, which means they can't nobody do it. You didn't just know this shit. You wouldn't pop out the goddamn coochie knowing all this shit. You a damn lie if you say you no. Somebody had to teach your stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? How to do whatever it is you think you doing over there. Somebody had to teach you that. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't born and just be like, now you the hoodoo messiah, the hoodoo Christ. You just know how to do all this shit just out of the goddamn blue. No. You on TikTok, for goodness gracious. No. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case, you would have cast you as goddamn spell. You know what I'm saying? Had you some goddamn country, you'd have been stacked money unbelievably high right now. You'd be sitting off somewhere just enjoying everything, not sitting on goddamn YouTube making stupid ass videos. You'd have used your power to set your goddamn self up. And if you hadn't at this goddamn point, I don't know what to tell you. You need to do better. You know what I'm saying? You need to do better. Shit. And like I said, this is not to discourage people from it. This is actually to encourage people. This is the anti-gatekeeping right here. The anti-gatekeeping. Because I think most people, I ain't gonna say everybody, I think most people, you know what I'm saying, with a reverence to African American culture can do this. That means if you part black, now it kind of makes sense if your ass is just from Norway or some shit like that. And you, but why? We allowed to pray to everybody else, gods and ancestors and shit. Ain't nobody else being like, yeah, you can't do that. Not that I know of. I you know what I'm saying? I don't see the Indian folks or the Chinese folks telling us we can't partake in their shit. Those people are welcoming as fuck to other cultures indulging in their rituals and shit. Black folks, nah, you can't do it because you ain't black. But anyway, about the practicing hoodoo your whole life without knowing it. And I'm not finna just name off a bunch of shit, but a lot of the superstitions and stuff like that, I ain't gonna say I was raised with, but technically raised with because I got them from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you was a kid I'm 50. If you was a kid my age, you know what I'm saying, back then, 80s, or maybe even back in the 70s, I'm pretty sure they was doing the same goddamn thing before then. All those little superstitions that we had as a kid, back when we used to go outside and play. You know what I'm saying? Back when when you went outside and play and had to be back home before the street light and all that type of shit. Those days, we all had those little superstitions and shit about stepping on the crack. This is what the woman said. This is just a few of them. Not splitting the telephone pole when you're walking, and not stepping on the crack, breaking mama's back, all that type of shit. It's a whole bunch more. It's a whole bunch more. But those type of things are derived from hoodoo. Now I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. That's what that one woman said. And it makes sense to me. Because we all have these superstitions and they come from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of shit, you know what I'm saying? All this shit. Ain't nobody just make this shit up right off, the shit came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Exactly where? I don't know. But all this shit come from somewhere. And I've always had I've had that. I do remember walking home, stepping over goddamn cracks. And I do remember motherfuckers, us being out and about as kids and shit, and folks walking, splitting the pole. And motherfuckers be like, all right, we split that pole. One of us or whoever was on one side would walk all the way back around that goddamn pole and back around. You know what I'm saying? And be serious about it. Did we know why? Probably just bad luck or some shit like that. But yeah, I do remember walking home and on the sidewalk, walking home from school, and just you got your head down, you're stepping over the goddamn cracks and shit. I remember all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was enough to get me. I was just like, yeah, that actually makes sense. And on top of that, my kind of natural superstitions. I always had little superstitions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Minor shit as far as I'm concerned, about little rituals little things you would do before you do certain shit, and stuff like that. So I always had that when I was a kid. And I was like, that actually makes sense. With that kind of made sense for me with the shit kind of being in you already. You know what I'm saying? Having like innate superstitions towards certain things that just didn't make sense to you as a kid. It's just something you did. You know what I'm saying? It ain't until you run across some other stuff and be like, and then you'd be like, ploop, ploop, like that. You'd be like, oh, that's what the fuck that was? Or maybe that's what that was. There was some hoodoo shit in my blood. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm like, that's some fun shit. You know what I'm saying? That's interesting. I'm just like, okay, cool. Now, I done looked into a whole bunch of this. Well, not a whole bunch. I done looked into some of this hoodoo stuff, and some of it just don't interest me. But like I said, I'm one of those people. When it comes to stuff like this, and this goes towards, these belief systems and religions and stuff like that, I don't think you need to be fully engrossed in most of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you need to be fully engrossed in most of it. I think you get what you need. You know what I'm saying? And you move on. You get what you need and you move on. Like I said, I got what I needed out of Christianity. Growing up and having to go to church and all that other stuff, even as an adult, I got what I needed out of Christianity, because at a certain point, it didn't do nothing for me. But my base morality, at least like my base morality is based in that, whether I want it to be or not. Now, do I believe in all of that? What's right and what's wrong? No, I don't. But essentially, is that, when you go into other belief systems and stuff like that, and you be like, well, I mean, the basic rules are the same all over the planet. for the most part. So, you know, we got that. You know what I'm saying? Just okay, don't fuck with people. That's basically it. Don't fuck with people. You don't want people fucking with you, don't fuck with them. Now we know the world don't work like that. But as far as normal folks, yeah, that's it. You don't want people fucking with you, don't fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? Just treat people how you want to be treated. All this other stuff. A lot of times it's worded different and all over the place, but it's the same fucking rule. The golden rule. It's the same shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Even people that ain't aware of it, that's generally the rule. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But you don't need to be fully engrossed in all this stuff. Take what you need, move on, because you can learn something from all of it. Like I said, I was into Taoism for a while. Buddhism, not so much. But I was into Taoism for a while. I got what I needed out of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting next to some koi pond just meditating, breathing, thinking about nothing for a fucking hour. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that deep into it. But just the text and reading and stuff like that, I got the messages. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got the messages and I was just like, okay, that sounds good. That makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with this hoodoo stuff. A lot of this stuff is weird. Goes beyond what I would normally do. But I'm like, okay. Like I said, the stuff that I was doing, I'm like, well, kind of falls in line with, with what I do anyway. I'm kind of a ritualistic person to a degree. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff fall right into place, but not all of it. I haven't ran across everything yet, but a little bit that I've run across, some of it, I'm just like, yeah, I won't be doing that part. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I won't be doing that part. That part ain't for me. And from the little bit of information I did, that's fine. You ain't got to do every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do everything. It's part of it that I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever. I don't necessarily believe that, though. That sounds like a load of blah, but whatever. Somebody somewhere is doing it, and it's working for them. Like I said, this chick is talking to our ancestors like they there. You know what I'm saying? They talking about building altars and all kind of stuff and blah. I'm not building altars and shit like that. I'm not. Now, I'm still learning about this stuff. I'm still doing my little research and watching my little videos and stuff like that. So I hadn't run across everything yet. I might get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make an altar. You know what I'm saying? I'm make an altar. Now, I don't have space for one right now, but I mean, you can make a makeshift altar just for whatever you're going to do at the time. But, am I going to be sitting there? And I got a kit right here. I got a kit. Right here. This comes with a bag of fucking herbs and a book that probably tell you how to use the shit. A little cloth thing. I guess that's for making part of the altar. Crystals. Candles. So, yeah. Now, how authentic this shit is, I have no idea. You know what? At a certain point, I don't really think it matters. Now, one of the reasons I got this because it was interesting. But these herbs right here and these crystals, even if I decide, because I'm probably going to want to make me some more mojo bags. I got a little bit, it ain't no anointing oil in here though. I don't think. I would probably have to buy me some anointing oil from somewhere. Everybody that I've run across got their own little website and shit and Patreon and, you know, how fucking YouTube works. But, yeah. I'll probably make me a couple of more mojo bags and all kinds of other shit and stuff like that, and give me something to fucking do. It'll be a while before I have to do anything with those. But you know, with that, you know, I say, okay, they got the crystals in there and they got the herbs. Now at least I know I ain't got to go shopping for shit. If I look up some stuff and somebody say, yeah, you need this, that, and that, and that, and that, it's probably already in that kit there. You know what I'm saying? It's probably out there. Like I said, the only thing that I noticed that wasn't in that kit was anointing oil. And I got a little bit left over up there. And you only need a little drop of that. So, at least for what I was doing, from what the little thing that I did. Now, I'm going to look up some shit at some point about mojo bags and something. And it's going to be 100% different than what I got over there. I'm expecting that. Just from the information I got and how all over the place this stuff has been at this point. I'm going to look up some stuff on the mojo bag, and it's going to be completely different from what the fuck, well, maybe not completely different. It's going to be different from what I did for those right there. Because from what I did with those right there was fairly simple. It didn't have no other weird shit going in it. I didn't have to light no candles or no incense. Now, I lit incense, but that was just me. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I do that I set my little table up. I didn't, you know, it wouldn't set up probably how you would have all this other shit, you know, water and all that. No, I made sure that everything I set was neat. That was my altar, to make sure that everything I had set up, this right here goes right here, this right here goes right here, blah, blah, blah. Make sure everything was neat. I had my fucking incense sitting right there because I wanted the incense sitting right there. Whether it was needed or not, that was a me thing. And I'm like, okay, boom. I'm for boop, 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 boop. Do all this stuff carefully. Do what I need to do. And, you know what I'm saying? Go through that process. Bam. Now, one of the things that I do is I talk to my bags. I don't have conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking to my ancestors, having a whole conversation with them, and you have an altar where you leaving plates of food and shit. This one chick was like, "Yeah, I leave some pancakes and some turkey bacon." I'm like, your ancestors gonna send you straight to fucking hell for leaving them turkey bacon. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna look at you stupid. All the regular people of us looking at you stupid because you leaving your ancestors turkey bacon. The pancakes, I'm like, okay. The fact that you said turkey bacon just ruins all your credibility. It ruins all your credibility. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to leave it as a offering on the altar. Turkey bacon. Bitch, is you out your goddamn mind? I'm 100% sure that if you go way back then to our ancestors and you gave them a piece of turkey bacon, they spit the fuck that shit right. First of all, they going to look at it like, what the fuck is this? And then they going to spit that shit out right when they take a goddamn bite. You know what? Go buy some real bacon, cook that, leave it on the altar. You ain't got to eat it. But don't subject your goddamn ancestors to goddamn turkey bacon. You're a horrible person. Horrible. Just terrible. On top of the rest of the bullshit information that you putting out there, because she was one of those gatekeeping motherfuckers. But anyway, I talk to my bags. Not holding conversations, but I greet my bags in the morning. And like when I wake, I'm right here when I wake up, and I'm all right. Good morning. put the bag over, or that, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll tell the bags we are leaving. Like when I have to get up and go to dialysis, or I'm leaving the house, if I'm gonna have the bags with me, and I put them wherever I'm gonna put them, I'm like, all right, we leaving now. Boom, that's it. I'm not sitting there holding the goddamn conversation. Or when I go to bed at night, I grab the bags. Good night. I put the bags back. That's it. That's it. Didn't nobody tell me to do that. Like, for real. Didn't nobody tell me to do that. Didn't nobody say it was necessary. I did all of that before I ran across all these you need to talk to your ancestors shit that I ran across online. That mostly everybody says that they speak with them and shit like that. I did that before I even knew that was a thing. Something in me just said, okay, it is supposedly a living spirit in it. This is some shit that I read when I was putting these bags together. I'm like, well, if it's a living spirit in there that's giving me these protections or whatnot, might as well speak to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be rude. If it's supposedly a living spirit in there that I have to rejuvenate every once in a while with a little bit of, anointing oil to kind of re-up, that's it. Now I might add something else to my bags. Like I say, they say do what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Yo Hoodoo. And next time when I feel that I need to re-up my bags, right when I get ready to put a bit more of that anointing oil in there, yeah, we put an offering in there. You know what? I'll put an offering in there. In each one of those little bags. It'll probably be a coin. Because those bags don't hold much. You can't just stick a whole bunch of this shit in them bags. I'll put a coin in there. You know what I'm saying? I got some pennies over there, so I'll drop a penny in each one of those bags, and that'll be a part of part of the offering. May work, may not. You know what I'm saying? And also what I did is when I was blessing the bags, when you have to take, well, at least for the procedure I was given to make those bags, where you have to take the 3 breaths and breathe into the bag. When I breathed into the bag those 3 times, I had words. You know what I'm saying? Words. So it was 3 different words for each one of those bags. I don't even remember which words I used for each bag, but it's a protection bag. So the 3 words I said. Anywho, I got a text message which actually stopped my recording. I don't get that. If somebody called me, it put a little thing up there, incoming call. That's it. I get a text message. It just say, fuck your recording. Here go your text message. Whatever. Anywho, now I got to go through the whole process of splicing 2 shit together instead of just uploading the video. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about, putting together the mojo bag? I was talking to the shits or some shit like that. Putting the offering in it. Anyway, I don't know if that's necessary, but I did it before I ran across the actual information that said you need to talk, that you should talk, or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? And when they wasn't even talking about the mojo bags. They was talking about some stuff at the altar. But like I said, they said there was a living spirit in there. So I'm like, shit, if it's a living spirit in there, I'm just not for to have a living spirit in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Just there doing work. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, once I made them bags, there was shit I've been feeling pretty good. I'm sickly, so it's kind of easy to notice that when I'm not feeling very good. So yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm feeling good. And it's kind of noticeable. It was right when I started this little bag or whatever. So I'm just all right, no biggie. Know what I'm saying? But like I said, the talking part, I started doing that on my own because I felt that it was just, you know, something nice to do, not something that I should do. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it's the hoodoo that you do. You do you. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're going to throw out a whole bunch of shit that you need to do, and then they're going to contradict themselves and be like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And that's what I'm going to put out there for folks that, even if you don't, like I said, even if you're not totally black or whatever the hell, even if you're on the outside looking in, your ass is Chinese or fucking Irish or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Look, if the shit interests you, try it. Try it. Because what's the harm? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be where some evil spirits coming to your house and start tormenting you because you trying some shit that ain't supposed to be for you or something like that. I don't know. Could be. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, I mean, if that's the case, I really shouldn't be doing hoodoo at all because I don't want to be associated with shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If you outside the race and you practice hoodoo and them motherfuckers, if they don't do nothing for you, then that's fine. But if you start getting fucked up some kind of goddamn way or start having bad luck, then I'm, you know, like say, it's just like, that's not something I want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be, you know, I'm one of those one world people, man. I'm not really big on race and all this other shit. I mean, at this point on this planet, we all in the same goddamn fight. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about race and all this other shit. We all in the same goddamn fight because everything is fucked up everywhere. And as far as us black folk is concerned, if you ain't really paying attention, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us black folks ain't all they goddamn black. You know what I'm saying? We are into I was for the word that shit that made it sound weird, but we are being we're intermingling with everybody. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these motherfuckers that you think is black ain't. You know what I'm saying? They Puerto Rican and Cuban and shit like that. And not to mention just white mixed. You know what I'm saying? It's probably be the most common, but a lot of these motherfuckers down here, but yeah, man, he look black, but nah, he's Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers be looking like the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? He's down there from the Caribbean somewhere. It's stupid. Like I said, the gatekeeping shit is some shit that just pissed me off, that started me to make this goddamn video. And I'm gonna have to get to the point where I'm like, okay, when I'm online looking for shit, and I'm usually on videos because I can't read that well, because I can't see all that great. When I hear certain shit, if they open up with that gatekeeping shit, I'll just skip along to somebody else, and hopefully I can get that same information without the gatekeeping, because that's a turnoff, and I don't have to partake in that. And that's one of the things that once I made those mojo bags, even though those mojo bags aren't specifically geared towards my energy, once I made those mojo bags, I haven't wanted to just indulge in just negative shit. You know what I'm saying? I haven't. Now, my Uber delivery person left my food on the goddamn ground in front of my door, and that pissed me off. There ain't no mojo bag for to stop me being pissed off about leaving my goddamn food on the ground next to goddamn pet food on the porch. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's gonna piss me off regardless. Now, how long I gotta stay pissed off about that? That might change a little bit. So yeah, they work, but you know it's a little effort on your end, you know. So, but that's something I ain't trying to be negative energy. That means even when I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm scrolling and I'm looking at videos and I see a stupid ass video of any sort, and first thing is go to the comments. Go to the comments. I'm gonna leave some stupid ass shit, and I'm just like, do I really want to do that? Every once in a while I will, because the shit is just entertaining. But as far as just saying some mean shit like I would at first, you know what I'm saying? Like you see some fat chick twerking or something like that, doing something that you know they shouldn't be doing. We all done seen those videos. And you want to hop on there and be like, you nasty. You know what? Now I'm not, you know what, I'll just go down to the little buttons, hit it, not interested, so that shit don't pop up on my shit no more. And hopefully I won't have to see it. At least not anything, that in particular. And just move on. Don't do no mean shit. Now, I will say some stuff that I might disagree with. I mean, if I disagree with something in the thing, but not just mean for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Just mean. Nah, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need to put that out there. And I don't want to get it back, because not that I can't handle getting it back. It's just that if I get it back, I already know the type of person I am. I am not. I am one of those people that will go back and forth with you online, arguing and cussing forever, because I ain't got nothing else to do. I will be sitting there arguing and cussing, calling names with you forever. It just, I don't got nothing else to do. That part is entertaining to me. After a certain point, it's entertaining to me. I'm not mad. It's entertaining to me. It's a waste of time and it's stupid. So, but you know, it is what it is. You know what? I am not going to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you come at me and say something stupid, I will say something stupid back. Now, will I keep doing it? Depending on what you say, you know what I'm saying? I will, not that it ain't gonna happen, but I will limit the shit. You know what I'm saying? I will limit the shit. I will limit it. Like I say, sometimes this shit is just entertainment to fuss with people online. But like I said, my mindset changed with that kind of real fast, about the kind of energy that you put out there and the kind of energy that you accept. You know, it changed real fast when I made those mojo bags. And those mojo bags, like I said, wasn't made for those specific purposes. But I mean, I guess the luck bag could help with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's good luck. The good luck was that I just happened to change my shit. That was the good luck. That was the happening right there. Good luck came along and had me just change my outlook on shit, right? You know, just kind of instantly. That was a luck part. I don't know. I just know that that's what happened. Like I say, I don't discourage people from doing any of this shit. That can happen from everything, not just hoodoo. Not just hoodoo. This can happen from anything that you put your focus into. That's your mind focusing in on what it is you want and what it is you got to do to get that done. I saw another video of a woman about manifesting and stuff like that kind of talked about that. And it was a whole little thing. And I was like, that ain't too far from what I believe in. Because I really only believe in two things: focus and gravity. That's it. Focus and gravity. Those are my two mainline beliefs. Focus covers all this shit. Gravity is the one intangible belief, because without gravity ain't none of us here. And I ain't just talking about holding us here on Earth. I mean the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? The whole everything. Without gravity, we don't exist. And there's a lot of details that go into that. I mean, Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson about that. He'll be able to give you an explanation on that shit. But yeah, without gravity, we don't exist. You know. But yeah, man. Like I said, do it. If you want to try it, try it. It may work for you. It's the same thing by anything. Taoism. You want to get people another word another culture's aspect on living peacefully and within yourself and your outlook on life and all this other stuff. Because like I say, it's like anything else. Everybody goes into it. Everybody gonna take something different out of it. Taoism, Buddhism, all that shit. Even the little religions we got now, even though it's just the main religions that we got access to, well, we got access to everything here, but the main shit like Christianity and you can dabble in that if you want, but that's not necessarily a dabbler, because they don't want you doing shit else other than that. A lot of other religions are fine with you and your idea of whatever it is you think you need to be doing. Even as a Christian. They're like, yeah, you can do, yeah, okay. That's fine. That's good. You know what I'm saying? Christians, not so much. Not so much. Which is one of my things I was saying when I was telling you earlier about that chick that was telling you to, if if you're a Christian and you doing hoodoo and all this other stuff, you need to, when you getting baptized, you need to say a prayer to keep your protections while you getting baptized. So you need to say a prayer while you got to try to put a little mojo bag on you somewhere while you getting baptized, or say a prayer to your ancestors while you're getting baptized. And I'm just like, okay, now if you are active practicing Christian, this is stupid shit. If you are active practicing Christian to the point where you are being and nowadays getting baptized, you saying a prayer to somebody else while you getting baptized, and you think God or Jesus ain't gonna notice this shit? Now, I should have went into the comments on that, but I was watching that on my TV. Now, if I was watching it on my phone, I would have went right to the comments and be like, hey, this shit don't make no sense. I can't do that on my TV when I'm watching YouTube. So, but yeah, I'm just like, that don't make no sense. If you are active practicing Christian, you would think God would notice that you praying to somebody else during one of his goddamn rituals. Well, not goddamn rituals, but one of his rituals. It will be a goddamn ritual if you are praying to somebody else during it. It'll be your damned. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? And I'm 100% sure somebody caught that. I ain't gonna sit here like I'm goddamn eagle-eyed and just catch all this shit. I'm pretty sure it was a bunch of people in the goddamn comments that was like, hey, you know. I don't think that part of the thing is gonna work out too goddamn well. I keep saying God. At least I didn't. Well, yeah, whatever. I told you I cuss. That's not gonna work out all that well for you. So you might want to skip that. If you're a hoodoo person, you might just want to skip out on the whole Christian thing, especially the Islamic thing. I don't think you want to be trying to insert anything else into that shit. No. Just no. Yeah, just no. Christian for no, don't even. Leave that alone. Do either or. You know what I'm saying? Or not both at the same goddamn time, because that makes no sense to me. You know, that makes no sense to me. And I've already talked about that, but anyway, that's my thing on that. That's what I wanted to get off my chest today. Was that okay? If you want to do Hulu. And I'm saying Hulu because that's what I hear a lot of times when I hear people talking. I know I got Hulu. I know what Hulu is, but Hoodoo Even though when I'm watching shit and I'm hearing people talk, they say, oh, like Hoodoo. I'm gonna need you to pronounce that goddamn D because I'm hearing Hulu out your mouth. And when I hear you say Hulu, I'm thinking about watching some shit on my goddamn computer, not whatever the hell you talking about because I heard you say Hulu and not Hoodoo. Pronounce the shit right, black folks. I need you to pronounce the shit right. You don't want nobody else doing it. The gatekeeping. At least pronounce the shit right. Please. So, that's my goal. I'm getting ready to get the hell up off of here. My goal is to just encourage people. If it's something that interests you, look into it and be aware of the gatekeeping. Just be aware of it. Be aware of it and ignore it if it's something that you really find interesting and you think that you want to dabble in and see what it's about. Because you ain't going to know what it's about until you actually get your fingers dirty. You know what I'm saying? And you might actually be missing out on something because a lot of people tell you it's something that you can't or shouldn't do. So, yeah. Your fingers in there. You know what I'm saying? If you run across these gatekeeping people, skip over them, go to somebody else, blah, 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 or just try your business. Stick with the mechanics of Hoodoo. You know what I'm saying? Stick with the mechanics of it. Now, I would say that about any other thing that I've run across, but a lot of other stuff that I've run across don't have this active, component where you got to actually do shit and put shit together when it comes to like work and conjuring and all kind of other shit that they got where you got to have all these ingredients and equipment and shit like that. A lot of other stuff ain't that. You just read and that's it. That's it. You pretty much just read and contemplate and all this other stuff. A lot of other stuff ain't got all these other working parts and shit to it where you gotta have recipes and all kind of other stuff and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, do you really want to be part of Hoodoo? Because it's a lot of it's some work in there. You just can't read and then sit and think about your life and all this other stuff. Blah, blah, blah. No, you gotta do some stuff. And that might be the interesting part of it. You know what I'm saying? That might be the interesting part of it for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I ain't gonna complain too much about it. I found it interesting. Come to find out that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of stuff I can't say raised on, that I came up with was rooted in Hoodoo to at least a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my natural behaviors kind of steer me towards that, but that don't mean that I'm interested in all of it. And some of it I am, and I partake in the bits that I find interesting, not all of it. And I'm encouraging everybody to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you find, I'm not just telling people to get into it, but I mean the people that are into it, or find it interesting, do it. Give a fuck if you white, yellow, purple, whatever. Get into it. I'm pretty sure our ancestors aren't a bunch of fucking assholes. Because that's what this current generation of hoodooists make it seem like. That's what they make it seem like, that our ancestors were a bunch of assholes because they was brought into, they didn't hate everybody. They didn't. So yeah. That's my stance on it. Our ancestors that were brought over here, they didn't like the slave folks or whatever the fuck and all that was, enslaving them. That don't mean they hated all white people. Now, there's some out there that probably did. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's, you bring a whole bunch of folks from over there, it's bad apples everywhere. You can tell that today. It's, you got racist white people. You got racist black. I'm pretty sure they brought over some racist black folks, Africans over here. You know what I'm saying? And if you think they didn't, you're an ass. You are an ass. Nowadays, racism will probably seem justified at some point, but I'm pretty sure they did. They brought over some racist ass white black folks, and right along they had the racist ass black folks. It's just, I mean, white folks. It's, you know, we all are. It's like that for a lot of folks out there. That's a worldwide problem. It ain't just black and white. There's those cultural clashes everywhere. Everywhere. So, yeah. That's all I got to say. I'll be here all goddamn day. I'm going to catch y'all on my next one, which I don't know.